schooling for me means one thing, and that's topwater fishing. Anytime I'm fishing in the fall, especially in the early fall when they're actively feeding, there's like that weird window where you have early fall, they're actively feeding, schooling. Late fall, they're not really schooling as much. So that active schooling, that fall schooling to me is all about the topwater. In front of me, I have a ton of topwaters. Really, each one is for a unique situation. To me, the #1 schooling bait is the Gunfish 95. There's something about that size to me. It's very effective in catching schooling fish. When they get keyed into that bait, sometimes they will sit there and be doing backflips on the bait all around your topwater and never touch it. For some reason, that 95 is one that matches the hatch, and they really like to bite that bait. So when they're full-blown schooling, I like the 95. Now, when I'm covering water, trying to find those fish that are actively schooling, you will catch fish that are not schooling on topwater, but I want a bait that I can cast a long ways and I can fish very quickly. And that's when I go to the Gunfish 117. This is a good casting bait. I can make very far cast. It's a good, very fast walking bait, something I'm gonna recover a lot of water, catch those singles while I'm looking for the schooling fish to clean house with that 95. Now, we go to the original Sammy 100, or the Sammy 105. These two baits I'm going to use along the lines of the 117 when I'm trying to cover water. More finessey, I like the Sammy 100. A little bit louder, I like the 105. It has a loud, hard kind of knock to it. These are the two that I'm going to use to just have a different sound. So if it's very, very still, very calm, the Sammy 100 is a great topwater. It's just not loud, very silent, doesn't splash a lot. It's very finessey on the top. Now, we go to a couple different baits here. This right here is the SK prop jerk. So what it is, it has a prop on the back, has a lip on the front. So what that does, that bait sits on the top, and when I twitch it, it dives, but because of the tail on the back, it splashes when it dives. So this, again, is gonna be a very subtle bait. Now, this is also a bait that I'm not going to cover a lot of water. So if I know that they are in a certain area, I'm gonna throw the SK prop. Because of that, it's gonna stay in a small area. I mean, I'm not gonna cover a ton of water. This is something I'm gonna target cast. If I'm casting around bushes, if I'm casting around a dock, if there's shallow brush piles, I know where they are, I'm gonna throw this over the top of those brush piles where I can twitch it and let it sit and not cover a ton of water. Now the last one is the Flash Minnow Wake. Now this bait right here is very effective around blueback herring lakes. When you get in Georgia, the Carolinas, they have blueback herring. For some reason, they like a wake bait, something that just sits there, just swims real slow on the surface. It's real subtle. Doesn't make a lot of noise, doesn't make a lot of splashing to it. It's just real subtle, and it just wakes back and forth, and all it does is just makes that little tight little wake on the surface. It just swims on the top. You will outfish any of the other topwaters when they're on that wake bait, when they're on herring. That's when I go to that Flash Minnow Wake. So right there is that fall schooling, fall feeding topwater. To me, throw all these in a box, get out there, throw it in that fall feeding, that fall schooling, you're gonna catch a lot more fish.